to Honest Car Reviews. My name is Eric and this is the facelifted Mercedes CLS 300D. And in this review I want to find out if this is the car that you should choose when you look at the BMW 8 Series and the Audi A7. Exterior wise, the facelift has seen some minor changes, but most prominently in the front. There have been some new colors, including this emerald green paint, and also some new colors on the rims. But those are pretty much the changes from the exterior. The CL shape in general, you have the CLA and you have this, the CLS. And they look quite similar, but underneath the CLS is a whole different beast. But when you consider that the CLS is about 40,000 euros more expensive, well, the choice becomes a bit more difficult. Even though the CLS looks really sleek, it is a big car. And you can see that from looking in the rear luggage. It goes extremely far in, so using this for driving to the mountains and do some skiing won't be a problem. The CLS is a coupe, but it's also a four-door. And how do you cram in a coupe shape into four doors? Well, you have to make some sacrifices, and that is the space in the rear. Because I do not have enough space to sit comfortably in the rear regarding headroom. But it is a lovely place to be. This brown and dark sides with this amazing original, which means that you don't have to extra option these wood trim panels and these Burmeister metal finishes. It looks amazing, truly amazing. There isn't that much knee space, and because the roof is so low down, it means that you have to sit quite low in the driver's seat as well, and that intrudes on the sitting position in the rear. The Mercedes CLS interior reminds me a lot of the new E-Class, apart from the seats. Which means that you have the latest steering wheel, you have the latest steering controls, you have the latest generation MBX system, but you have analog controls for the seats, not those new haptic feedback. Which means that I would consider this interior to be the greatest hits. You have the best from each Mercedes put into this CLS. And that just feels great. You have an amazing interior. If you haven't noticed, it is dark outside, but that makes it possible to show this car's party piece, and that is the interior lights. You have two different levels to choose from, and what I mean about levels is that you have a lower level which you can have a certain color, and then you have an upper level which you can have a different color. And that together with the Mercedes perfume creates a really nice ambiance when you drive this Mercedes CLS. How is this car to drive? Well, since it is optioned with the optional air suspension, the road in general and the bumps are soaked up really nicely. But since it has relatively large rims and relatively small or thin tires, it does mean that there are quite a lot of small vibrations that are translated into the cabin, which even though the air suspension absorbs a lot of them, you can still feel them in the steering wheel. And that engine, it is the 300D, which means that it is the same engine as in the 200D and the 220D, but it's of course tuned a bit to produce just above 260 horsepower, and that is plenty for this car. It is not face melting quick, but it still makes it easy to pass and to drive at quite large or high speeds without feeling out of breath. And since it is a diesel, that engine really comes into its own when you drive more quickly. I managed to get down to 0.5 liter per 10 kilometer, and that is mighty impressive for a car of this size and weight. I also need to talk about some negative things about this car, and I'm nitpicking right now. But I'm a reviewer, so that's what I need to do. The indicator stock sound and feel when it disengages feels quite cheap, and it's not worthy of a Mercedes. Doesn't feel good. The panoramic sunroof is tiny and doesn't go to the rear passengers. And also the exterior. I talked earlier about comparing this with the Audi A7 and the BMW 8 Series. And I think personally that the A7 and the 8 Series exterior wise will age better than this CLS. And I forgot one thing, and that is Mercedes forcing you to buy safety items, namely the lane assist, the active cruise control. Those things should come as standard. This car is spec'd with about 12,000 euros, and you need to spec the Mercedes quite a lot to be able to get these safety features. They should come as standard. Finalizing the Mercedes CLS 300D. Well, from the exterior point of view, it is very similar to the CLA. And it's a quite big price difference between these two. And when you look at the BMW 8 Series and the Audi A7, I feel that these cars have differentiated themselves better than the CLS compared to the CLA. The BMW 8 Series and the Audi A7 feels like premium vehicles with a large step, both exterior-wise, interior-wise, compared to lower products. But once you get behind the wheel of this CLS, that is where things start to fall into place. It is so comfortable. It has such agility also. And that's the takeaway of this Mercedes. You want to drive this CLS. You really want to. And that's my final review for the Mercedes CLS 300D. See you next time.